Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to actually be the largest fishing reel that I've ever worked on. This is a Penn 49, and I picked this up a while back on eBay, and it is absolutely a monster of a reel. They do make larger reels, but this is one of the largest cheap reels that you can buy. These things actually don't sell for a whole lot. They are very heavy duty, kind of a narrow bodied reel, and they've got this beautiful graphic on the side. I don't know how well you can see that, but we've got the fishing graphic on the side, the sailboats. I think it's yeah. There's a cutter over here. I think that is. So fishing boats out here. That's just absolutely a beautiful reel. It's actually got someone's social security number engraved in it, and when I bought it, that's what it had. It does have some problems with the chrome. I'm going to see if I can clean some of that up. If not, that's okay. I really don't plan to ever fish this reel. I I have been known to sit watching movies and play with this reel, just because it just is so smooth. It's fun to play with. It's got anti-reverse on it, and if you look, we have an anti-reverse override here. Okay, that's the override. Here's our spool release over here. There we go. It releases this and allows you to cast and spin it up. And it's a big, heavy spool. It will spin up and run for quite some time, and once you get it actually moving. So it's a smooth reel, especially considering that it hadn't been serviced. It has one of the loudest clickers that I've ever encountered. It's so when I hear that thing, it reminds me of the movie Jaws, and I know this isn't the reel that they used in Jaws, but it's still a very nice reel. All right, let's get busy and see if we can get this thing apart. We're going to start off by taking off the screw on the side over here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. If you've got one of these reels, it's nice to have one of these wrenches. I bought this thing off of eBay for like $5. So we're going to take out that screw. And I've never had one of these apart, so this is all new to me. There we go. There's the screw. It's an oil port. We're going to have to clean that up a little bit. Hopefully get that moving. Now we should be able to take the handle off, which we can. A nice heavy handle. Very dirty. We're going to scrub all these parts up. I'm going to be scrubbing them down with some WD-40 and steel wool. Let's go ahead now and take off the star drag adjuster. There we go. And let's see where we want to go now. I'm going to assume that we're going to want to take out all these screws that hold this side plate on. So that's what I'm going to do now. All right, and note both of those two base plate screws were shorter, and all the rest of them are the same. All right, with that done, we should be able to lift the side plate out and off. There we go. And there it is. There's the inside of the reel. We're going to be taking this all apart later and tearing it down. It's got quite a bit of sand. As smooth as this thing runs, and yet it's still got sand inside it. Okay, this sleeve slipped off right here. We're going to set this over to the side for a minute, and we're going to pull the spool out. Wow, that spool weighs more than most reels that I've dealt with. Okay, it used to have some braid on it, and someone has cut it loose with just about that much left. So I'm going to get that off of there. I have a way of taking off this braid that isn't normal. I'm going to go ahead and do it though. Um, there we go. That cleans that braid right off, and it doesn't put any excess stress on that post. Okay, so yeah, I still need to scrub this up good. This is the, wow, there's a lot of sand in this. This is the clicker cog, and there is no level wind in this, so you don't have any excess gears over here. So, and I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these side plate screws and take this apart and try to get these parts cleaned up. All right, that's got all the screws out and the post off, and I believe we should be able to pop this trim ring off. There we go. Let's get that off. It's not too dirty inside. It is a little sandy though. And let's see if we can pop the other side of it off. It appears that it may be part of it, and I don't really want to tear it up taking it off. Let me try sliding my razor into it. There it comes. It's coming off. All right. Okay. I'm going to clean all this up. We'll go ahead and take the adjuster off of here so we can get all the grease and dirt out of there. We're going to clean down inside this hole really good. There's the oil port. But yeah, all this is sandy, so we're going to take all that, take it all the way apart. And I'm going to clean this. I'm going to use something I haven't used before. This will be my first experience with it. I have been watching Dennis Kuntz over on Second Chance Tackle. I've been watching him for over a year now, clean parts, and I've watched him use this Penn rod and reel cleaner, and I've never tried it before. I found it online, and I went ahead and ordered me some, and I'm going to spray this down just a little bit and try it out. And I will try scrubbing all my parts up a little bit with it and see how it does for me. I think in the end, though, what I'm going to end up doing, since there's so much sand in this side plate, is I think after I scrub it down good, I think I'm going to go back on this one and spray it down, or scrub it with some Dawn dishwashing detergent, because it's pretty greasy inside, but it's also very gritty. And I don't want to put all that grit back into this reel. So I want to make sure, and water tends to take grit out better than anything else. So you scrub it up real good and put it in some warm soapy water. And when you get done with it, usually you've been able to get rid of all that. Okay. All right. And I'm going to stop while I'm cleaning for now. Okay, I don't know if you can tell it now, but I have completely scrubbed this piece up. It no longer has any grit, dirt, or anything else in it. I've oiled this clicker and scrubbed everything else in here. This one's ready to reassemble. What is not ready to reassemble is the post. And I still have to clean these posts up. And what I will probably do with these is chuck each one of them up in my drill and spin them with some steel wool and some WD-40 and see if I can't clean some of this off. And I'm going to end up putting the worst of them on the bottom so that they don't look quite so bad. And I'll be back with you in a few minutes. To give you an example, I've put this one in the drill. We'll wrap it with steel wool and I'll spin it up. And there's that post. Halfway done. Do one side, Flip it over, tighten it back in the drill, and I'll do the other side. Yep, that didn't get in the drill properly. Better. There we go. There's one post that's not perfect, but it does look very good considering what it did look like before. I guess I should have given you a close-up. It kind of looked like that. And now it looks like that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the rest of these, and I'll be back to you. All right, we got those done. Got them cleaned up. One of them was pretty bad. The worst of them was this one right here. And it's missing some chrome off of it. So, but that's as best it's going to look. So that's probably one of the bottom ones. But if you look, some of the rest of them come out really nice. These two here are probably the worst two, and they're going to go near the bottom. And these other ones will go near the top where they look the best. So we'll put those back in just a few minutes. Got all the parts cleaned out. Okay, well, we're going to start off here now. Well, I still haven't taken this apart and cleaned it yet, but that's going to be last. We're going to start off by putting the base plate back together. These are the screws that came out of it. We're going to drop them in. If you look, there's a flat right here on the head, like that. And what that's made for is so that that can go in and slip right. If it's not on the flat, see how that sits? I twist it around, put it on the flat. There you go. Put the bottom plate on. Put your nut on. And like I said, I don't really ever plan to fish this reel. It's probably going to go sitting on a shelf. Not because it can't be fished. I just don't do this kind of fishing. This reel, to me, is the kind of reel that sits on the back of a big fishing boat, and while you're trolling along looking for those big fish. And I don't foresee me ever using this size reel. This is probably the biggest reel I will ever buy. And the only reason I bought it to begin with is because it came with a bunch of other reels. And I bought them. And this one came with them, so it was kind of a bonus. And once I got my hands on it, I was like, wow, this is kind of fun to play with. And so I've been playing with it on and off for quite some time. And let's go ahead and put the last wing nut on. And in case you're not in the know as to what this is for, this assembly right here allows you to clamp this to a fishing rod so that not just the bands come around the front and the back to hold this on. This plate then also screws on the bottom. You tighten it down, and that clamps it completely to the rod. Keeps it from coming off, or that's the plan anyway. All right, we've got that done. So let's set that over to the side for a moment. Let's go ahead now and line up the holes on the side plate with the metal plate. Okay, we've got the two largely spaced holes here. That's this one and this one. So you find those on here. We're going to slip them in and put those holes so that they line up, hopefully. And the easy way for me to do that is like this. I can slide that through and line it up, and there you go. And you can go ahead if you wish and drop a screw through, maybe even two, to help hold it in place while you start putting the post and the base plate back on. Okay, remember that. Well, tell you what, let's go ahead and do the side plates post first because they're the easiest to put on. That one goes here. This one goes here. Remember, the long ones go on the post. There's one. Let's put another long one up here. Put a good looking post up there. If you just snug these up for the moment, that'll be fine. You don't need to fully tighten them yet. Okay, once you've got the one side plate lined up, it's time to get the other side plate lined up. Do not forget to put it on. Okay. Nope. That one. Okay. Line that up. Go ahead, it won't hurt to go ahead and get one into the other. Nope. So we don't have them lined up properly. Nope. There we go. This one comes off, slides over one. There we go. Now they should be lined up properly. Okay. Put that in. Install a post. This is going to be the top, so we want the prettiest post up top, as they're the most likely to be seen. Okay, with that done, we're going to come back, reinstall the spring, and screw this back in. Like so. We don't want to screw it all the way in. We just want to screw it in a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and put a drop of oil down inside there. Now remember that we've cleaned this all up. It's all ready to go back on. So we're going to add just the tiniest touch. Let's see, I got a little fuzz in there. Okay. I'm going to put just the tiniest touch of grease on here. And go ahead and slip it in. All right. And then we're going to set that over to the side. And now it's time to get to the business end of this reel. Okay. And we're going to start off by taking off this side plate. There we go. And I believe, let's take a look. Okay, that's how that one works. I haven't messed with this anti-reverse override before, so that's a new one on me. All right, and over here, this is our. That works just like any of the other pins. There's the sleeve that goes in. Okay, so let's come over here to this side and let's take out these screws. I'm going to keep my hand over the end of it here so that it will catch any loose parts inside that want to fall. And at that point, the rest of this is just going to slide right out the back. And there we have it. There's our 4 screws. Now notice that 2 of the screws only have partial threads and 2 of the screws are fully threaded. Well, the 2 that are fully threaded are going to go down near the bottom of the jack plate, our bridge assembly. Okay, let's take this part, set this one over to the side for a moment, and let's come over here. What do we got here? This is our spring. Okay, and I'm not sure how that went in there yet. I'll have to take a look and see if we can figure that out. All right, let's go ahead and lift the gear. Nope, doesn't want to come up yet. Okay, let's start off with taking off this washer. Okay, and then we have a drag washer here. Okay, heavy metal drag washer. Now look, see here at the top, it's sticking. Okay, we can take care of that. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to take a flat file. And we're going to stand this up like so. And look at it here on the end. And see how they got that high spot right there? Well, that's what we're trying to eliminate, is that high spot. Okay. Okay, there's one side of it. Let's go to the other side and do it again. Remember, you don't want to cut into the flat here. You just want to take off the high spot. Like so. Now, when we lift this piece, you should be able to get up under it and lift it up. And we should be able to pull it right off. Like so, like that. Okay. Now let's see if we can get this gear to come up. Wow, it's on there pretty good. It's stuck. Okay. See if we can get this drag washer out. I'll tell you what, let's see if we can maneuver this a little bit like this. Get that gear to come up, because I really don't want to bust that drag washer. It's starting to come up. Okay, it's got the drag washer partially lifted. Let's see if we can get it to come up the rest of the way. Gently. You do not want to break it if you can help it. Certainly on there tight enough, and it doesn't want to let anything else come out. Remember, you have to be gentle with it, or you could snap it in half. There we go. All right, now we'll probably clean that up just slightly on the inside with a file. Let's see if it will come up. Now, there we go. That was the washer holding it. Okay, gear comes up like so. All right, we're a little tarnished on the bottom. Got some gook stuck to it. Let's see if we can pop this drag washer up and out. There we go. All right, this one is an eared one. See, it's got the ears on it. We'll clean that up a little so you can see those a little better when we put it back. There we go. There's another drag washer. Now this one is stuck to this brass one, and we want to try to get it off without cracking it. If we can, there we go. Okay. So there's another fiber, and this is a keyed washer. Okay, that should leave us one last drag washer fabric type down inside. There we go. All right, so we got 3 fabric washers and 3 metal washers in there. And we're going to scrub all this up and clean it. And see if we can't get it looking more presentable. All right, now this one here. This is a hard drag washer. Fiber goes on the bottom. And then we've got this guy. And he feels very sluggish on there, like he's got really old grease in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to press out this pin right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. There's a pin right here. Let's go ahead and blow that up and get down to where hopefully you can still see it. And I'm going to take my punch and see if I can push that out. If it won't go that way, I'll turn it around and try it from the other direction. looks like it's going to need a little assistance. Okay, I'm going to set my board up here. I like to hammer on. I'm going to set this up. Set this in place. And we're going to wrap it with the hammer. Set this sideways like this. Okay, it doesn't like standing up because you can bend the shaft. If you try sitting this up like this and trying to hammer this out, you can bend this shaft. So you don't want to do that. Lay it down flat. Okay. Drive it down. Once you get it out so far, you can go ahead and grab hold of it with a pair of pliers or vice grips. And pull it out the rest of the way. Or at least far enough. There we go. Okay, we're going to set that down. Now this will come off the rest of the way. There we go. And we're going to clean the old grease and dirt from inside here. All right, this is our anti-reverse. And for the life of me, I don't know how it was installed or where it was installed. Let's see, part of it, I know it sticks out like this. Okay, I think it is anti-reverse override, actually. I think it goes over here like this. Because, yeah, it rides right in here, and it rides on there, like so. Okay, so that's where it goes. Now, question is, where does the spring go? And I believe that the spring is going to sit right in here, in the hole, and then back over here like this. Okay. This will have a screw coming up through it. Let's go ahead and put the screw in place first. I'm just experimenting here till I figure this out, because I did not see how it came out. Okay, this one goes in here like so. This is our anti-reverse, like so. And it needs a spring. It's going to hold it down this way. So the spring is going to go into here and then bend around right here into this channel, like so. Okay, that's how it's going to go. Just like that. And that holds tension on this to keep it up against the gear over here. And then once the plate is back in, it will hold it all in place. All right, got that figured out. That was the tricky part. All right, let's scrub everything up. Oh, we ain't done taking it apart. Let's get over to here, and we're going to take out the jack plate, push down on the pinion gear, and slide the jack plate up and over out of there, like so. And then we can take out the pinion gear with the yoke right here, and we're going to have to scrub that pinion gear up good. And then these two springs, these are your yoke springs. We're going to set those over here out of the way, so hopefully I won't lose them. Let's see if I got my... There's my safety pin. I like to take a safety pin and put these two springs onto the safety pin until I'm ready for them. That way I can't lose them. This spring here, I've got to be careful not to lose it. It's very small, very fragile, and very easy to lose. All right. There's no point in taking these off as long as they're moving free and easy, and they appear to be, both of them. Okay. In the event that I did need to take them off, what you can do is you can take these two screws out right here, and lift them out, and then, well, let's go ahead and do, well, we'll do them both. That way we can take this plate off the outside edge here and get it all scrubbed up. And we need a nice close picture so we can see how it goes back together. And which guy is going to be, that's going to be the most pressure on the spring. There's going to be the least pressure on the spring. So we'll at least put this one in this position, and we will unscrew this screw. And I'm not sure whether these two arms are identical or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this screw and this arm on this side and put them over here to the left. And we'll lift this out, take our eccentric out, set it over to the side with its spring. Okay, then we're going to take the other one out over here on this side. And we're going to remove that one. And we'll remove this eccentric. And he's going to go over here on this side. Like that. Now I'm ready to scrub this side up because it's gritty and greasy. And we've got to get this last chrome ring off. Okay, rather than damage that, I'm going to leave it on. So in the meantime, one last thing to take off. We got to take this off. I believe that's probably a 10 millimeter. Let's unscrew this bearing out of here. All right. And we're going to spray all this down. And the cleaner works very well. The Penn scrub cleaner. Put a little bit on there. And I scrubbed it in real good. And then I took it in there and used Dawn for the rest of it. And it all came out. All the grease, oil, everything else came off of it really nice. So I'm going to do that again for this other side. And on top of that, this stuff smells really nice. So I'll be back. I think I've done a respectable job of cleaning all these parts up now. I think it's about time. Oh, hang on. I got to clean the eccentrics real quick. They mostly just need to be wiped off. All right. Let's see if I can remember how to assemble this. Okay. We're going to start off with this piece. And we're going to try to put the eccentrics in. This eccentric for this side is this one over here that I set in. And what we're going to do is we're going to put just a little bit of grease in the hole that the eccentric fits into. That way we can sit it in, move it back and forth a little bit, make sure it's not gritty feeling, make sure I've got all the dirt. All right, now what we're going to do is we have the spring for it, and the spring has this point that turns up. Well, that point has got to go up underneath the eccentric on this side and push upward like so. Okay. Now we're going to set this back into place with this leg of it facing down over here. See, it goes into this notch right here. And what we want to do is get this eccentric lined up, and it sits in place. Let's get this leg down in here. See, it's not in the notch it belongs in. So let's see if we can get the eccentric into the notch, like so. Okay. Once we've done that, then we want to kind of rotate it a little bit to bring it down and into a more usable position. And right now it wants to fight me, so what I'm going to do, now I'm hoping this eccentric will push through enough for me to get this arm onto it and rotate it. Right, let's see if we're going the right direction. Okay, we want it to go counterclockwise. So let's bring this spring down. Get it into its notch right there. Okay, and then we want to rotate this counterclockwise to get this into the right position. Okay, there we go. That pushed it up and into its spot like so. Oh, I let it go. But it was in place. I just was looking at it to make sure. Okay, pull it back around to its locked position. You'll feel it drop down in the hole. You got to hold your finger against it though, or it won't stay. Okay. Hopefully I got it out enough to go in. Eccentrics are not fun. Doesn't want to go. So what we're going to have to do is use pliers to pull it down and around. There we go. I think that's far enough. Yep. To get it on there and pull it around till you get that balance point. You'll find the balance point right about there. You got to hold your finger up on it tight then, and then set your arm back on and let it come over and rest against it like so. Hold it down in place and put your screw in. Okay, flip it over. Tighten the screws the rest of the way. There you go. Okay, that's the first eccentric in. That's the one for the jack plate. Okay, we've already got the grease in the hole, so we don't have to come back and oil it. Okay, let's do the same thing now for the other side. A little bit of grease in the hole. Here's our eccentric with its spring in it. Remember, the spring has to come up from the bottom and hook in. Okay, set that leg into its side. There we go. Make sure it's in the hole like so. And let's see which way that has to rotate. It's gonna have to go counterclockwise here, which means it has to go clockwise on this side. Okay. If you look, this is almost lined up to begin with, and I haven't cleaned this arm yet. There we go. We're almost in position to be able to put that on here. But see how it's catching right here? So flip it upside down. Hold your finger on that eccentric. Set your arm in place. Lift it up until you feel that balance point where it kind of stops. And then flip it over. Once you got it over, go ahead, bring the arm over. And didn't hold. There. Okay. Put that screw in. Tighten it down. There we go. And there's that eccentric in place. Okay, that's your anti-reverse override. Chris, I don't know if you're watching this one, but yes, it's got an anti-reverse override that should make you happy. It's one of the few Penn level line reels that do. All right. I'm going to have to stop for a minute because one of my washers is cracked. Can you see that? There we go. I'm going to see if I've got a replacement for it. I had a replacement washer. It's a little bit thicker than the original, but I think it'll work okay. So there's my broken one. I think that's the broken one. Nope, this one. There's the broken one. Okay, so let's go ahead and break that the rest of the way so it doesn't get confused and accidentally end up in there. Get it out of the way. All right, now we're going to come back to this part. We're going to take and put a little bit of grease on there, not much. And then we're going to slide this back into place. And this has been cleaned out inside with a cotton swab. There, it feels nice. Turns easily. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to stick this pin back in. And you got to make sure the pin goes all the way in flush, or if it doesn't, it'll hang up on your drag washers when you go to install them. Okay, we're going to put, we're going to use some Cal's Universal Drag Grease on these washers, and we're putting just a small amount on. Slide it in place, and this is the one that was a little tight coming off, so be careful putting it back down. There we go. You don't want to break it. Everybody doesn't have spare washers laying around. Okay, next goes the gear itself. And I'll tell you what, let's do. I have a tendency to forget to grease these, so let's go ahead and grease this gear up good. It cleaned up very nice. All right, we've got that greased up. Let's slide it down. There we go. Next to go on is going to be this new replacement drag washer that we got, the large one. Go ahead and slide it down. There we go. And next to go on is going to be the thin keyed washer. There's two. One of these is thick and one's thin. And we're going to put the thin one underneath. It goes on. Hang on just a second. This drag washer did not get greased. Let's go ahead and grease it. And you don't want it swimming in grease, but you want it to have grease on it. Okay, slide it on. Now, put your thin keyed washer on, like so. Next, we're going to put this drag washer on after we add a little grease to it. Okay. Then goes our eared washer. It's the one with the two little ears on it. See the ears? Well, they have to go into these notches right here on this gear. So slide them around, get those notches lined up, slide it in. There you go. Then we've got one last drag washer to put in. This is the red one, and I'm not sure why it's a different color, but that's what they did, or somebody prior to me did. That's what they did. Let's go ahead and slide that in. This is the one that was sticky. It did not want to go down. So that makes me wonder if it's original to the reel. It goes down to there, right there, and then it wants to stick once it gets past the threads. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean out the inside of this a little bit. There we go. Now it'll fit on there nicely. Let's go ahead and grease it. That'll keep it from causing the drag to stick when you're trying to adjust it. There we go. And then goes on the last of the keyed washers and this tension washer. Okay, that's got this assembly done. Let's get back to here and let's see about reassembling the jack plate. And clean out this bearing. Spray a little WD-40 in there, although it does look shiny at this point. You're ready to reinstall this bearing. Now this one does get screwed all the way in. The one on the other side does not, but this one does. All right, that's all the way in. We're going to come back. We're going to take our 2 springs and reinstall them here and here, like so. And we're going to take our pinion gear and we're going to grease it up good. All right, now this flattened out side is the side that's got to go up because that will fit into the spool on this side over here, like so. Okay. So we're going to put this on the yoke now. And we'll set the yoke into place on that bearing, like that. Is we need to take and put a little bit of grease on top of the eccentric so it can pivot on the jack plate. We'll go ahead and do the same thing for the anti-reverse override. And then we're going to put some grease on the yoke on both sides here. And then we're going to put a little bit on these 2 ramps on the jack plate, like so. Now let's go back and reaccomplish what we had done. Put your thumb on there, push it down, slip the jack plate in place, hook it into place. Make sure that it's on this post over here. There you go. That's all locked into place. Now we've got to do something with this spring over here. And let's see, which is going to have to go first. All right, so here's what's going to happen. We got to put the spring in afterwards. Okay, and the anti-reverse afterwards. It cannot go in first because the gear can't fit past it. All right, so we're going to lift this out like so. We're going to slide the main gear down and get it into position like so. Now we're going to put our override in. Like that. At that point, we can go ahead and put the spring in. Slip it in that way and bring this part here up and around, right like that. That puts the tension against it. Now push the screw down so that the head doesn't catch. Bring this around and line that screw hole up like that. Okay, with that in place, we should be ready. And I'm just going to put it in just a little bit for a second because it feels like it wants to cross thread. We don't want that to happen. So let's go ahead and try to get one of the other ones in. And now let's try putting this screw in. Now it fits. This one in this side. And hopefully I didn't let anything slip while all this was going on. We're going to find out in just a second by testing the anti-reverse override. Okay, that slips there. Okay. All right, if you look, as I rotate that, anti-reverse is working. All right, so all of that worked good. And there we have it. This is ready to go. We're ready to put this chrome trim on. Set that into place. We should have a short screw over here that we can sit up through here and line the hole. There we go. Okay. All this is aligned. Everything's where it appears to be normal. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can reinstall this side plate back in. Oh, before we do that, let's go ahead, put some oil in the bearing, although you can oil that from the outside. I'm going to put a little bit over here on that, and I'm going to add just a touch of grease. All right. All right. That one's lined up. Let's go ahead. Okay, before we get too far, I want to do kind of a little operational check and make sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to do. So let me scrub this up a second. Okay, appears that I've got everything correct. Let's see if this releases, and it does. Let's see if the anti-reverse override works, and it does. Okay, let's get the rest of the screws back in this. All right, we're gonna put the handle on now. Let me make sure I got that clean. Okay, let's put the handle on. And this reel was missing an item when it first got here. Okay, like I said, it was missing an item when it first got here, which I didn't realize until I went to take it apart a while ago. Okay, and that was the little locking screw that goes right here. And I believe I have one of those. And I'll get it and put it on. All right, let's see here. All right, let's test the drag. Uh-oh. I know better than to do that, but I did it. Let's loosen the handle up, make sure the drag is down tight. That extra washer may be too much. The washer I put in it was a little thicker. That may be causing the drag to catch, but I'm hoping it's just that I've got the handle tightened down against the drag knob. As much as I hate to admit it, I did have to take the reel this whole side assembly completely back apart and change out that new drag washer that I put in there, or used. It was the one that was too thick. I swapped it out for a thinner one, and now the drag is working properly. It holds nicely. You can loosen it up to where, there you go. And I've got all that fixed. Anti-reverse is turn offable or override. Okay, and there's our spool, free spool, and in which case it spins. Yep, I think I got a little too tight. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, she'll spin nicely. Okay, and the one thing we haven't talked about on this, let's take off the spool. All right, is the bait alarm, a clicker. And this, like I said, this thing is loud. Lubricated it. And it's working beautifully now. So there you have the Penn No. 9 deep sea reel. This is a really fine reel. I will probably never fish it, like I said, but I will hang on to it. It's fun. I can sit for hours and just do that. It's been a really nice reel for that. So, Chris, I promised you a big reel this time, and here it is. And hope you like it. If you liked what you saw here today, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Tell me what you didn't like. Maybe I can improve it. And if you'd like to see more videos like this and you're not currently subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And anyway, for right now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.